What I would say in terms of Gartner, kind of publishing these articles, I wouldn't say that they're necessarily changing the market. I think they're only capturing a momentum, which is that the old vulnerability management processes are no longer effective, given that usually it's something which tends to be like scheduled once a quarter, once every few months, and doesn't necessarily capture the existing risk. So imagine you conclude a scam, and then you look at the results, and then eventually you open some tickets and try to address it. Eventually, the time from the detection through the remediation can last a few months at worst. And you can always think that a second after you conclude the scan, a new vulnerability may emerge or be found on your devices, which the scan kind of overlook. So I think the old paradigm of let's scan once every few months no longer exists. And I think Gartner quite well captured that momentum where the market is evolving towards exposure management, which is a big word. It does capture a lot of emotions. One of which is the expanded attack surface. So organizations today no longer only looking on servers or desktop. They have a whole fleet of problems you need to address. It could be mobile or even IoT or cloud or working from home or on-prem. Also, it's very diverse in terms of the areas of potential breach or, again, the attack surface. Second, also the sophistication. So if back in the days, the number of vulnerabilities which have been discovered was, you can call it kind of controllable. Okay, so it was a controllable number of vulnerabilities. Today it's went over the roof. So this year alone, 2024, over 40,000 new vulnerabilities were discovered. And keep in mind, a single vulnerability may affect multiple systems, multiple applications. We have like the notorious Log4Shell vulnerability, which was a supply chain vulnerability. Basically, so many different applications were affected and organizations crumbled. They had very hard chances to even identify where they are affected. So with the increasing number of vulnerabilities being discovered, and even vulnerabilities alone is no longer the thing. You may have the most up-to-date systems with zero vulnerabilities, but the configuration may be wrong, right? So eventually you may have the most secure system in terms of versioning, and your configuration is completely messed up. Eventually that may be a potential breach for an attacker. So organization needs to face a diverse set of devices which may be affected, or assets, a diverse set of problems, which it could be vulnerabilities, it could be misconfiguration, it could be even identity. There are a lot of things which today can be affected or kind of used against you. Aside from that, there is also the business context. Bear in mind that again, the traditional vulnerability scanning process was kind of very basic in the sense of there was a score. Every vulnerability comes with a number between 1 to 10. 10 is very problematic, 1 is not that risky. And this is out of context. These numbers don't represent like what does that vulnerability mean to you, to your company. And something which changes as we see is that companies need more and more to rely on vendors and tools and processes to suggest them or advise them how does the vulnerability affects them on their environment, on their configuration, in their context. So that is also something which is shifting very, I think on the better way, on like actually helping companies to address the right things on the right time. Also, that shift towards from vulnerability management to exposure management does bring along the sense of continuous versus, as we said before, scanners used to be very scheduled, very periodical. While the market does go towards continuous, all the time visibility, because you need to address things as they come. We see today there is from the time of a vulnerability being discovered to that being exploited, it used to be months, now it goes to minutes. With the whole shift of AI also used by the adversaries, it's something which need to be taken into great consideration. We have even today attack frameworks which do the research of vulnerabilities, do the validation or the weaponization of that, actually writes down an exploit and tries to run it against targets automatically, altogether. So from the moment a vulnerability is being discovered, it could be also AI driven, to the moment it's being exploited, it can last minutes. So companies may do a mind shift towards, maybe even preemptive security, which now also Gartner very much advocates. So I think all in all, this shift from vulnerability management, which was, I think it was good when the numbers were controllable, to today, which the numbers and the directions that it may affect you kind of became almost, uncontrollable. It becomes like the numbers don't make sense today for a manual human kind of powered process to happen. We need to rely more on technology, on automation, remediation first, even preemptive security. This is the way the market is going towards.